let's move on now to Buckeye Leafs. Let's hand out Buckeye Leafs, guys. This is a tradition like none other. We do it here, and it's what makes Ohio State's helmet the most beautiful piece of art in college football is the Buckeye leaf growing on the helmet, and we're gonna do the same thing here. 4 games in, let's hand them out. All right, let's start here. Alex, we'll go with you again. We'll keep going around in the circle. Your offensive player of the game.
I'm going to give it to Julian Sand. Didn't have quite the stats I was hoping for, but that's really because his coaches were handcuffing him for a whole half. I feel like if he didn't get handcuffed for a whole half, he'd have over 300 passing yards, maybe even 400 on that bad passing defense for Washington, probably a couple more touchdowns, you name it. It's just like Ryan Day said, the kid is so poised. He takes everything thrown at him, never gets scared, never plays scared, just cool, calm, and collected. I love the kid. I saw it in him before he was even starter, and I'm glad he's not making me look like an idiot. So Julian Sand gets the Buckeye Leaf.
Corey.
Julian Sand
Okay.
as well. Played a clean, controlled game. Gave Ohio State exactly what it needed. It wasn't just stat line that impressed me. I mean, his stat line is solid. I mean, I agree with Alex. It could be higher, but it's still pretty solid. I think how he feels the pressure on the pocket is really impressive for such a young guy. And I'm going back to that Max Clare completion. Philip Daniels didn't necessarily get beat, but the guy was getting around the edge. And immediately, without even looking, he starts shuffling left. He sees it coming, or he feels it coming. And then Tegra loses containment on the edge there, and he makes the just picture-perfect zip pass to Clare on the sideline with 2 guys around him, with a defender in his face. That is ridiculous for like a 19-year-old or whatever he is, 20 at this point, with only 4 starts under his belt. He's so poised, like everybody says. I think that's the most impressive part about him, and yet he's still one of the most accurate passers in all of college football with a great arm. But yet it's his poise and his leadership on the field and his calmness and his ability to adjust in game is what's the most impressive thing about him. And I think right now, we're definitely putting some training wheels on him a little bit. We're handcuffing him a little bit, but I think there's a plan with that. We'll talk about it later, obviously. And but I think his game management skills are already developed extremely well.
You bring up that pass to Max Clare. It reminded me a lot of an Aaron Rodgers throwing to Jared Cook in that playoff game against Dallas.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep. That was sick.
he is Aaron Rodgers Jr. Officially dubbed. I've said it before. I've comped him before, but it's official now. Aaron Rodgers Jr., Julian Sand.
That pass to Clare was the one that Clare dropped in game 1 against Texas.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Same exact route, same play, everying.
If he'd have dropped this one, I'd sent him back to Purdue.
Right. Speaking of Purdue, it was former Purdue Dylan Thieneman who got that interception for the win in double overtime. And I said, can you imagine if Max Clare catches the game-winning touchdown against Penn State? Dylan Kuhn will have an absolute... Like, those are my boys.
We were also facing former Purdue head coach Ryan Walters.
That's right. Ryan Walters out there running the defense. Red, your offensive player of the game.
I hate to just keep it on one gentleman, but I'm just going to go ahead and say Julian Sand by far. And for me, it's simply just because of the accuracy. 22 for 28. The limited opportunities he got to sling the ball, he did not fail to execute. He was extremely accurate throughout the game. 2 touchdown passes. He was the difference maker in this game, point blank, bar none. I don't think any other offensive player on this team, in my opinion, did more to win it in terms of skill position than Julian Sand. Getting the ball out to the wide receivers and doing his thing, and when he was able to do it. So yeah, it's an easy call there, Julian Sand. And I wish, we will talk about it more. I really do want them to just let this kid just run and see what he can do over the next couple of weeks as we get into the Big Ten schedule.
Sean Strock says Philip Daniels had a bad game. Did he?
There was some down points with him. Yeah, it wasn't his best show.
I know this much: when he got the personal foul for the face mask, at least he got his money's worth.
Yeah,
he ripped that kid's head off, man.
You're going to do it.
Both he and Luke Montgomery got arrested for that game.
No.
Let me see if I couldn't convince one of you to change to Jeremiah Smith. he tied Jackson Smith-Njigba yesterday for the fastest Ohio State receiver to get to 100 receiving yards in 20 games. And if he doesn't catch that and run to the end zone on that little drag route there in
Beautiful
the
play.
first half, which was a
God.
massive play,
Oh,
can I get
100?
one of you to maybe change your opinion?
Do you mean 1,000 or is it actually 100?
Actually, that play to Smith, I put more on
100
Sam.
receptions.
100 receptions. I meant yards for a second. My bad.
Yeah, he's the fastest receiver in Ohio State history, tied Jackson Smith-Njigba to get 100 receptions in 20 yards. My bad if I didn't say that properly.
But come on,
What-
Eric, that's a career accomplishment. Not
right.
we can't be going by game now.
Listen, we know who Jeremiah Smith is. We know he's the best player on this team, but I won't say by a landslide because Caleb Downs is pretty good too.
Well,
He's all right.
according to our last power rankings, he slid to number 2. Caleb Downs took it over.
I don't know how that happened. But listen,
Corey and Chris happened.
I put him at 4 right now. That's where I put him.
But listen, we know who he is. Great accomplishment, but we know he's a dog. We've seen him on the road before. Julian's saying this was his first time on the road, and he handled it perfectly. He give him his flowers.
Fair enough. Okay, let's flip it over to the defense. The defensive player of the game, Alex.
Boy, I want to give it to my boy Alvaro Reese just because I love that guy so much, but I can't. Caden Curry, good God. Enough said. If you watch the game, you know it was his game, and everybody was his peon. He was the leader.
Yeah. All right, Corey.
I think I'm going to go Joey Belesquit. No.
Oh my
All
God.
right. Anyway,
Throw him in jail.
Corey, with that answer, you, my friend, could also be an NFL, work in the NFL as a player, whatever they're called, evaluator.
I think the obvious answer is Caden Curry, but Caden McDonald's right behind him.
Yeah.
Heartbeat of the defense, video game stat line. I'm just going to go ahead and say it: 11 tackles, 9 solo, 5 tackles for loss, 3 sacks. Like an average day is okay. And he just plays his role to perfection. He holds the edge. He help keep that quarterback caged, and he finished when the pocket would collapse. He's a freaking monster, and you can use him anywhere on. And that's the crazy thing. He's so good. I actually, when we went into the season, expected him to be kind of just a good player, not great. Just a guy like Kenyatta would be the guy. Caden McDonald would be the guy. No, Caden has been the guy, but I did not expect Caden Curry to become a Bosa out of nowhere.
Yeah. You mentioned it, the 5 TFLs tied an Ohio State record. That list includes Ryan Shazier, Chase Young, John Simon, and
who are those guys?
Yeah. Who's Chase Young? Never heard of her.
Ryan Shazier.
A lot of people would say who's John Simon. A lot of people probably forget about him.
It's been a while.
He's really solid player.
I had a class with him in college.
That's a callback.
Solid guy.
So yeah. All right, Red, your defensive player of the game, bro.
I think Caden McDonald had a great game yesterday. Obviously, 4 solo tackles, 3 tackles for loss. Pretty good. But again, Caden Curry just absolutely from out of nowhere has been proving himself to be maybe even a bigger weapon on that defense than Sonny Styles or Caleb Downs. Like it's absolutely kind of jarring to me that this guy literally came out of nowhere this year and has already beaten the stats he had last season at this point, not even 5 games into this season. So, yeah, easy Caden Curry. I pity the offensive coordinator that's to playing around that kid.
Yeah. Jar Happiness. Didn't John Simon stand over Robinson? No, that was Zach Bourne.
Zach Bourne. Yeah.
Zach Bourne.
Yeah, that's an iconic photo. Yeah.
And that wasn't Robinson. That was Gardner.
Yeah. Offensive play of the game, Alex.
Oof. Gotta be that Jeremiah Smith touchdown. That was just such a pretty route. Just having Jeremiah Smith stall for a second and then just go do that drag route like he did. I didn't see that coming, and I'm like, how did nobody cover him? Not a single soul was near him until he like broke and got that ball and broke for the end zone. Yeah, that was pretty. I love that.
That's a great play design. Just
Yes,
they were talking
yes.
about it on the rewatch today about how that was a route for one because all the other receivers were blocking downfield. They weren't even running routes. It was a route for one.
Yep.
Interesting. Your offensive play of the game, Corey.
Well, it was a Smith touchdown as well, but I had a lot of fun watching it this morning, talking to one of my good friends who's a pretty knowledgeable football guy about it. And what's interesting about it, this is why I give it more to Sayan than even Smith, but Sayan and Smith both recognize something. They've still a slot blitz, they're rushing six, middle field wide open. And Sayan waited for Smith to clear that defensive lineman that fell back into the zone. And he got it to him in stride just before that edge rusher backed into it. And since they were playing quarters coverage, all the receivers cleared the coverage, and he had nothing but open field. There's no way that wasn't an option route to me, like a blitz beater. And for people who are ripping on Brian Hartline, he gave them that knowing it was 3rd and 11, knowing they might blitz a young quarterback. And the fact that they both were on the same page, and if you watch Jeremiah Smith, he like takes a second, then he turns left on that drag route. Just a thing of beauty from top to bottom. Like everybody executed Berkeley, and it actually shows how well coached our guys are. So it's so much fun to watch. I watch it like probably like 50, 60 times a day. I'm not joking.
That's
It's good.
that's cool. That's some good insight. Thank you, Corey. Red, your offensive play of the game, man.
Again, I hate to get on the bandwagon here, but it's got to be that Jeremiah Smith touchdown. There wasn't a ton of offensive scoring yesterday, but what was there was extremely effective, and that was the best play out of all of them. And I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into that play. You go back, you watch the replay of that. It almost looks like like a wide receiver screen in a sense. You got the offensive line dropping back deep. You got the wide receivers going upfield, getting men and getting blocks quickly. And then Smith, that's what clears the way for Smith to just prance right into the end zone. If you look at it, like I'm looking at the replay right now, I'm seeing 2, 3, 4 guys blocking upfield for Jeremiah Smith. It tells me that might have been like a modified wide receiver screen back over in the middle of the field. That's something I've never seen. When you think of wide receiver screen, you're thinking of bubble to the outside after dumping it off real quick. Not, hey, let's throw it over the middle of the field because everyone's just going to cave in, and then it's going to be a free real estate all the way to the end zone. So brilliant play call and very, very effective. Going to be really hard to defend that because no one's going to think that you're going to throw a wide receiver screen over the middle of the freaking field.
Yeah, it'd be interesting when they pull that back out of their bag again.
Oh yeah.
And it's definitely something I feel like Brian Hartline and Ryan Day sat down one day and were just like, when they were talking in the bye week about how can we fix the red zone, and they're just creating plays and drawing plays, and that one might work, that might work, and they showed Jeremiah, and he's like, yes, please, and then they practice it, and it might not look great at first, but then all of a sudden it starts to get better, and they practiced it more, and then they pull it out in this game, Corey, and yeah, perfection, man. Yeah, hats off to the coaching staff for drawing that up. The defensive play or hit of the game, Alex.
That muffed field goal. No, I'm just kidding. I would say that 4th down sack by Caden McDonald. I think that was just. It wasn't. I mean, the game was pretty in hand at that point anyway. But I think it's just a tone setter for the rest of the year. To be honest with you, that we can get a team even with that good of an offense off the field on 4th down like that. I think that's going to be a big booster for the rest of the season going forward, and hopefully foreshadowing of what's going to happen in Ann Arbor a lot.
I'm going with the Caden Curry sack just before halftime because I had the touchdown of 7-3. They had about 40 seconds to go. They were near midfield. They could have driven down and scored in that situation and killed our momentum a little bit because we're getting the ball first going in the second half. And it was just a team sack because you got C.J. Hicks rushing, and he stood up his blocker, and he took the line of sight from the running back from Williams. And then you had Arvell Reese crashing the running backs, noticing the screen. And then Caden Curry, obviously, since it's a screen pass, just going past his lineman and getting the sack. Just a total team effort there. It was pretty freaking impressive, and it actually completely killed their momentum and allowed us to go in the half up 4 and getting the ball first.
Sage Ohio Fielding's TD saving tackle on the kick. Yeah,
that had to,
he
that
kind of
had to
got
hurt.
he kind of got trucked, but you know what? Hats off for you, bro, for getting in the way and taking one for the team, man. By
Boy,
the way,
that was the worst thing I've ever seen.
that that guy was a track star. I mean, he was big dude for a track star. I mean, that guy
Yeah.
can. I don't know. He was big, but no one's as big as the punter for Penn State. Have you guys seen this guy? Holy smokes! That dude, I'm like, that is the most unpunting looking punter I've ever seen. But he's got a leg on him, man.
It's like the
Big
hefty
old leg.
lefty as a punter.
Yeah. Red, your defensive player hit of the game.
It's going to be the McDonald sack, and it's not because of the play itself. If you go back, you watch the play, it's very like Looney Tune-esque, like McDonald. He gets in there, he gets one arm on the quarterback, and the quarterback just like stumbles like all the way into the backfield. So it's like, it's not the prettiest sack in the world, but what it represented, Washington was starting to kind of get a little bit of momentum, I think, driving down the field. They were just inside of Ohio State territory on the 48, 4th and 2. 8 minutes to go in the game. They were only down by, let's see, it was 17-6 at that point in the game. If they convert that 4th and 2, they get a little bit of momentum going. Who knows what happens the rest of that drive? So the ability for McDonald to get in there and do just enough to stop the momentum dead to end the game effectively at that point. I mean, in my opinion, it's the most important play of the entire game, bar none, because of what it did to stop Washington's offense and to pretty much shut the door on them coming back after what Ohio State does later on in the fourth quarter.
There you have it, guys. Those are your Buckeye Leafs from Ohio State's 24-6 win yesterday in Seattle over the Huskies.